Hi guys, welcome to Rustic and Lace DIY. My name is Brenda for those who are new here. If you are new, we like to do home decor on a low budget as well as thrift flips, gift ideas, and sometimes hauls. So if you like that, then why don't you join our family by hitting that subscribe button. And if you're not new, well, welcome back. Thank you all for your support. And today we are doing a Try It Tuesday challenge. So I'll let you know more about that after the first DIY. So with all that being said, let's get to crafting. Okay, for the first project, you're going to need a printout and some books and Mod Podge. And that paper I printed out, I can put a link in my description box. I just Googled vintage flowers, free printables. But then you're going to start by ripping the front cover off of the book. And then you're going to rip the back part as well as the side off. And this book was given to me by my sister. She said they were horrible. She didn't like them. So they weren't very good books. So then once you're done, you're just going to use some hot glue and glue them all together, just like that, one on top of the other. And then you're going to take that printout and you're going to place it. You're going to see right where you want to place it. And once you have it where you want it, then you just kind of make the crease all around the books so you know where to cut. But what you're not going to see is the fact that I actually cut it too short and had to go back and reprint out the picture and cut it out again. So make sure you aren't cutting it out too short. And then I'm just going to use some Mod Podge and put it on the books on the side there. And then I'm going to add the paper right to it, or the picture I should say. And then I just smooth that on and I set it aside to dry. You want to make sure it's nice and dry before you do anything else with it. And once it was dry, I took some more Mod Podge and I went over the front of that picture with it. And this Mod Podge is antiquing Mod Podge. I thought it might be kind of cool to use. Then once all dry, you just take an X-Acto knife and you just trim away all the paper. And then you're going to trim in between each of those books where they're connected. And you want to just kind of push the paper in a little bit so that way it helps those lines pop out a little bit. I don't think I pushed mine in as much as I could have or should have. But that just kind of helps those lines pop out a little bit more so that it looks a little more like a book. And then once you're done with that, I took some of that Mod Podge and just put some on the front page. And it only takes it a few minutes to dry. And then I took some of this lace that I got from Hobby Lobby when it was on sale, and I'm just cutting it or tying a knot around the ends there. And then this ribbon I got from Dollar Tree around Easter time. I just added that to it as well and just kind of trimmed the bottoms. And then I got these flowers off of Amazon. They are just amazing. They are so beautiful. And I'm just going to hot glue them right in there. And I'll put a link to those flowers in my description box if you want to order them. And that's pretty much it. I was feeling a little shabby chic and went for it. So here you go. And make sure you check out Julie's designs and signs. She's where I got the inspiration for this piece. And her books are just beautiful as well. So make sure you check her out. Really hope you enjoyed that last DIY. Before we continue, I want to talk about that Try It Tuesday challenge that I'm participating in. It is a challenge to where we pick 3 or more DIYs that somebody else has already created and we recreate it, making it our own. And it is being hosted by the amazing Sammy at Unicorn Desk Designs. She's the person that I watched at the very beginning before I started my channel, and she's the one who, after watching her, really encouraged myself to start my channel. And so I would highly encourage, if you don't know who she is, to go and check her out. I will have the link to her videos in my description box, as well as the co-host Rebecca Virginia DIY. She makes some beautiful stuff too, so check her out as well. And check out the playlist so you can see what everybody has come up with and how we have duplicated other people's stuff. So with all that being said, let's continue crafting. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to start out with this mesh garbage can and a cake pan and some tags. And some of these gloves, they are have rubber on them and some things sharp to cut the trash can with. So you're going to start off by just going right underneath that rim of the bottom part, and you're just going to cut all of those little pieces, and they cut really easily, but you want to wear gloves because they can be sharp. You don't want to cut yourself. So once that is all cut off, you're going to take the ends and you're going to squish them together. And then as you're squishing, you're also going to be kind of pushing down towards the middle to kind of form it in a round so that the bottom is rounded. And then once you get that all done, it does take a little bit, and you can just keep squishing it until it's the shape that you like. And then once you're done with that, you're going to take it and put your fist through the middle there. Oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself. No, you're going to squeeze. So you're going to go down about 3 or 4 inches from the top and just start squeezing it in. You want it to kind of give that, I keep thinking of an hourglass shape. So you're just making a shape out of it. And then I just kind of bent in from the top part too, just to kind of help highlight where it was going in, where I was squeezing it at. And then when you have that all done and just like you want it, then you're going to take your fist and you're going to go through that middle part and you're going to push out with your fist. And I was squeezing with my right hand on the bottom while I was pressing out with my left hand. And that just, like I said, gives that hourglass shape to it. And then you're just going to go all the way around the basket doing that until you have it shaped the way you want it as well. And this one is inspired by DIY Carom. When I saw this on YouTube, I knew I wanted to make this. I just absolutely loved it. So then what I did here is once that was done, I was going to use an S-hook from the garden section at Dollar Tree, but I couldn't find mine anywhere. So this is the bottom of one of those mesh garbage cans, one of the smaller ones that I had used for a DIY previously. So I'm just using my clippers here and my wire cutters, and I'm just working really hard, and I finally am able to break it in half, and then I just shape that into an S shape so that can be the handle for our coffee cup that we're making. And there I'm just measuring it to make sure it's gonna fit right and that it's angled right. And once you're done with that, you're going to take some E6000 and you're just going to put it all around the bottom part of that wastebasket, which is now going to be your coffee cup. And then you're going to stick that on the top, or I should say the bottom part of that cake pan. You have it turned over and put it on the bottom. And then once you have that done, you're going to cut out from that bottom piece that came off of the garbage can. You're going to cut all of that mesh part off from the rim, and you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to put the E6000 on it, and you're going to put it in that middle spot that's open. Now I don't show this, I don't know what happened, but I did put a candle and some rocks and stuff in it to kind of hold it all down, and then I put a tray on top of it to hold it all down for that glue to set. Then I took my little handle and I am just wrapping it with twine all the way around. And I mainly did this because it had little pokey things from where the wire was on that handle, and I didn't want anyone to cut their fingers. So, but I think it looks cute too. So once that was done, I took this paper that I got from Hobby Lobby and this coffee sign that came from a Dollar Tree picture that I used for another project and some tags, and I don't remember where I got those tags from. I've had them for a while. And I just trimmed out or traced out that word coffee and cut it out with that paper. And then I took the gold paper off of that coffee sign, used a glue stick, and then put that paper on top of it. And then I used the glue stick and attached those two tags together at the end. And then I add some hot glue and put it on top of the tags, just like you see there. Then I'm just going to use some hot glue and trim it out with some twine. And I just go all the way around the whole sign with that twine. And it got a little tricky there between the F's, so I had to use my little mask applicator to push the twine down in between the F's. And I finally found one of those. It has taken me months. I've been looking for one of those mask applicators, and I finally found them. Okay, so once I am done with all of that, then there you see how I had it. I did have a tray over that as well with some more weights on top, but I just take it all out. You want to make sure it's not touching the glue so that doesn't stick to it as well. But once I got done taking all that out, I took it outside and I spray painted it all black. And then I'm taking some rope here, and I am it's the jute rope that you get from Dollar Tree. I separated the pieces because it has 3 pieces woven together, and I'm taking one of the pieces and I am just weaving in and out of that coffee mug, and I'm just skipping every 2 holes. So I'm going in the 3rd hole. Then when I get to the end, I just tie off a knot, and then here I just put the little handle through one of those holes, and then I'm going to super glue the bottom piece to the basket there. And then I'm using my husband's accelerator, spraying it on the super glue, and you just hold it there for about 10 seconds and it is set. Then once I was done with that, I took some smaller twine and I put it through the holes of those tags and then through the holes of the mesh or the garbage can, and I am just tying a knot so that way it holds the sign in place. And I do that on both sides. And then I just took some of that rope and I went around the base of that coffee or cake pan, as well as between the basket and the cake pan. And there it is. I think it is so adorable, and I cannot wait to put it by our coffee maker. And again, all the links to these inspirations will be in my description box so that you can go and check out the original items. This is the next DIY. This one was inspired by Sammy at Unicorn Dust Designs, the host here. She made one for the outside, but I'm making one for my closet. So basically I used one of those garden gates or fences. I used those large book rings, and then I ordered these little crystal pendants, and I don't know what all you call them, from Amazon, and I'll have a link for you there in my description box as well. I took a small chain from that sign, and then the garden hanging chain that you get from Dollar Store as well. And I started off by cutting off the little stakes that are on the bottom. You're going to cut through all 3. Sometimes they cut through really easy, sometimes they don't. My wire clippers cut on some of them perfectly, and some of them I had to try a little harder. Then I took it outside and spray painted it all white, and then I took all of these beads and I counted, I believe I had 12, maybe it was 10. It's all up to the way you want it, the length, but I think it was like 10, and then I put it in half and put one of those bigger pendants in the middle. And then you'll see me here using these hooks that I got from like Christmas ornaments or something. And we are stringing it through those little round pieces. They have little holes. And then I'm just hooking that onto the base there from one end to the other. And I end up actually changing those little hooks out for this stretchy see-through bead or string. And so then I took 4 of those little round ones, and then I connected one of the big drops, teardrop ones to it, and then I'm just tying those up in the middle, up on the top, all around. And you can do this any way you wanted. I just kind of went in everywhere that had an opening where I felt needed something pretty and dazzling, and I just filled it in all the way around, and you could do it any way you wanted to. And when I was doing this, the sun was starting to shine through my window and it was making it look really pretty all around my desk. So then once I had that all filled, I will show you here in a minute how I put the top on. So I took that big chain and I took off the little clips on the bottom, and I counted up 4 rows. And I took them off. I used my pliers to open them up and take them off. And then I took one of those little links from the small chain, and I am going to add it to the end of that big chain. And that small link is actually going to be what hooks on to the little holes that are on the corner of those fences. So once I get this all attached together, I take the bigger link and I string it through that book ring, and then I close it, and then I take the little hook from the little link and I put it through the little hole like that. And then once that was done, once I got all of those in, I just used my needle nose pliers to tighten it so it doesn't fall off. And then all I had to do was open up that book ring and put it around the light bulb in my closet. And it is so pretty. I love it so much, and it's so cute. I might have to make one for my husband's closet. We know how he likes shiny. This video doesn't do it justice. It's so much more pretty in person. And there it is hanging in my closet. Okay, and this one is inspired by She's So Crafty. She is one of my favorite ones to watch. So what I did is I took 2 of these garden fences and 6 of these boards that I got from Dollar Tree. They're 1x2 by 18, and I think she uses 1x2 by 22s. That she gets at the hardware store. So I started off by painting these, which I should have put it all together before I painted it, because I did end up having to go in and repaint over it because I forgot that I needed 2 of them to be cut in half. So once it was painted, I had my husband cut 2 of them in half for me. And then I'm just laying them out here, and I am going to use some glue to glue them together. Now, Dee on She's So Crafty, she put the end pieces on the inside of the boards, but since her sticks were longer than mine, I thought it would be better to do them on the outside. So here I just marked where the end pieces were so that I didn't put glue past that, and then I put some wood glue and some hot glue on both sides and just stuck them together, and I did that for both ends. And then here again, I'm cutting the little stakes off with my wire clippers. And once I got those off, then I'm taking my scissors and I am cutting off those little end pieces that connect to the other fences. We don't need those. And those, you can just use scissors. They come off fairly easily. And then I just use scissors here to cut each of those 4 panels to separate them. So you're just going to cut 1, 2, 3 of them to have the 4 separate ones. And I do that on both fences. So then you're going to take and you're going to cut off with scissors the rounded part on each one of those. And you will take, after that, you're going to take, I'm showing you just what I did for 1, but you'll do it actually for, you know, the 2 things you're making, if you make 2. So you cut the bottom piece off, and then there was one of those things still there, so I just used my razor blade there to cut it off. You're going to cut off the corner piece. I had to use my wire cutters, and then once that corner piece is off, you're going to trim that straight piece off so that it has a rounded bottom. So you're going to cut off actually 4 of those that have just like this. 4, you're going to have 2 that don't have the arrow and don't have anything on the bottom, and 2 that, I'm saying that wrong. Just look at the picture. That's how you're going to do it. And you're going to do that for 2 times. So then once you have them all cut out, You're going to lay them out like you want them. And how I did it was like D, where you make little hearts. And I love hearts. So I think this is one of the reasons why I loved this project so much. Then you're going to take some zip ties and you are going to tie these things together, but you don't want to make them real tight because you're going to move those zip ties connectors to the back. So then you just turn it around and make sure you bring those connectors to the back part of it, and then you tighten it once you have it right where you want it. And then put a little bit of hot glue underneath it to kind of help give it some added strength. And then cut those off, and then you're going to put some hot glue on that arrow part, and you're going to glue that right in place. And then once that's dry, you're going to add a zip tie to that as well, doing the same thing as you did on the other two. And then just add a little hot glue on the bottom to just kind of give it a little more strength. And then you're going to take that piece and you're going to hot glue it to the back of your board. And I go along all the way around and hot glue it. Now, I did not paint the back of this board because it's going to be hanging on my wall, and I don't think anyone's going to take it off my wall to see it. And if I ever decide to do something else with it, I might paint the back. And then once that is done, you're going to do it on the other one, but I'm just going to show you this one. But you might want to add a staple to it because, well, I'll tell you that in a minute. So I then take some black paint and I'm just going around the corners and the sides and all the edges, inside and out and in the middle, and just kind of giving it a small distressing. Then I take this rope that I got from Amazon and I'm stapling it to the back to have a hanger. Now, I don't know why I didn't show this, but I did add those little jars with the zip ties and some bushes in there. And I think it's so cute, but this is why you might want to staple the back as well to give it some added protection. I have to staple mine because of those jars and the weight. It keeps making the hot glue not work on the black stuff. So there you go. There are the final projects. I hope you enjoyed this, and I really hope you check everybody's videos out. They are amazing crafters, and I just loved their pieces so much that I couldn't wait to do them myself. So if you haven't already, make sure you've hit that subscribe button, as well as give me that thumbs up. That really does help my channel. And give me a comment on what you liked, and if there's anyone that you like that you watch that they create things that you really like too. So everyone have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.